Yet another day of the Caravan game. Let's see what happens tonight.
Oh
New
boy, we
episode.
went live.
Episode name.
Episode name. What are we even doing anymore? All right. So basically, last time, we went into a haunted house, but it turns out it wasn't really haunted. There was just a midget. What was his name again? It was something like Neville.
His name was Neville. Neville Longbottom.
Yeah. And he's a freaking illusionist or something. And I rolled a nat 20 in charisma, and he's on our side now. So, yeah. And that's about all I remember. Oh, yeah, and my character's legitimately insane.
Oh, and T-Berry definitely didn't take anything. That's one thing that you need to remember is...
I didn't take anything.
No.
Not take anything from that house.
Requiem Shock Thunder took everything from that house. He's got like pockets full of books. I think I got like, was it 10 or 15 books out of there?
I think it was 10. Well, 9 because you gave one to T-Berry.
Yeah, I gave T-Berry the one with the flower in it. Excuse me.
So I'm going to say that you guys are dining at the McDonald's Express in the center of Wilmington. And
we just ate there.
Just catching up on some McRibs. Oh no, it's a day or two later. Like you guys have been dicking around in Wilmington for a little while now at this point.
It's our new
Why are there horseshoes in my McRib?
It's our new Seinfeld hangout.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay. Well, now that things are established here, I suppose it's about time that we unstoned our buddy, the lizard.
I agree. However,
would you look at what this one book says? Apparently, it has ingredients for several different McDonald's ingredients. Interesting.
You found a book about McDonald's recipes at that gnome's house?
Yeah.
I think you just
quite
found
intriguing.
I think you just found like a shitty gluten-free cookbook, man.
Oh yes, it does say that on the front. Good thinking, T-Berry.
It's called Shitty Gluten-Free Cookbook. How do we go about bringing back a stoned man?
Well, usually, I think you have to give him a lot of food, maybe some water. We're talking about a different kind of stone here, aren't we?
Quite a different.
I do believe this will take some sort of magic which I cannot do. Jared, do you know any spellcasters in the area?
I feel as though I ought to, being that, and then he remembers that you guys haven't been let in on the whole. Oh no, you were there. If we're going to be networking in this town, I suppose we ought to find some. I can't say that I quite know where to look from. Perhaps a church or I don't know. Where do you usually find magic people?
As Wes, not Wes, Hiram. As Hiram says magic people, Requiem takes his hand and casts prestidigitation, bleh, mouthful, and creates sparks along his hand. Toodaloo.
Yes.
Perhaps a higher level of magic than that.
Oh, yes, I forgot. We're quite a bunch of magic users, this group.
Is there anyone else in the McDonald's Express?
Yes.
Like
there
fairly.
There are plenty of people that are eating gathered around. If you recall, there isn't really any seating around the McDonald's Express. It's just kind of an outdoor cart. But there are picnic tables kind of off away from it a little bit. And there's plenty of people around. You see an elven family. And
No,
Jared,
there's kids.
you would recognize them. You would recognize the elven family as the ones that had child 1 and child 2. Because, they're very afraid about naming them too early and getting too attached. Because if you recall... Huzzah, callbacks. You guys also see... some older gentlemen that are just sipping on coffee, and they keep going up for refills. And you see Lemmy, the cook with the big growth on his face, like he, after a while, starts to get really fed up with how often these old men are coming up for warm-ups on their coffee.
You see Requiem walk up for extra coffee.
So,
yes, I'd like an extra coffee, please.
All right. And he fills it up and hands it back to you.
Thank you very much, sir. You notice that Requiem's starting to get a bit jittery.
Cool. So what do you want to do, Aubrey?
as they're having like the conversation where he's trying to prestidigitate Hiram back, I'm gonna pull a Groot and just like stand up and walk towards the picnic tables and stand on one and just yell, "If there's anyone here who knows where we can find a spellcaster, it would be much appreciated." And walks back to the table and sits down.
So Hiram is gonna walk over to the old men. And how many are there, Tim?
There are 5 of them.
Hello, gentlemen. How are we today?
Huh? What? Oh, hi. Are you Jimmy? You
I am
look
not
like my Jimmy.
Well, do you come to this establishment very often?
Every morning. We get a senior discount and the refills are free.
Oh boy, I sure do love free refills.
I'm afraid.
And the senior discount.
Corporate.
Oh, you lucky old man. He laughs.
Corporate has made some changes to certain policies, and my name is Hiram, am a representative of McDonald's Express Incorporated. And I have been
Hiram, you are?
Yes, I am.
Oh, that is very fortunate. I have a lot to tell you about this place that could make this place even better than it already is.
All right, Hank. Hank and Jimmy, you guys calm down for a second. I need to just let us sip on our coffee for a moment, and then we might be ready to answer some questions. I'm gonna go get a warm up real quick. I'll be right back.
No, sir,
my name is Hank. My name isn't Hank. It's Requiem. And
well, no, you're Jimmy, and this is Hank, and he'll pat Hiram on the shoulder and go for his warm up.
What?
Oh wait.
It's all right, Jimmy. I get confused sometimes too.
With
Rubbing his eyes.
prestidigitation, he's going to go and cast a question mark above his head. All right, I'm done. Sorry.
So, gentlemen, I'm afraid to say that the warm-ups and refills are no longer free, and the senior discount is only for veterans now. And unless you have proof that you are veterans, you will no longer receive said discount.
So you see this guy, he pulls up his tunic and he just has on tidy whities under it, but you can see
God.
that he's got all sorts of wounds on his torso and stuff, and they're kind of sagged over with loose skin, and he's just got these salt and pepper patches of hair in the center of his chest, and his pecs are very droopy at this point, and he says, I lost a kidney in the Battle of Wilmington. And see, I lost another kidney. I don't have any kidneys at this point.
But
Maybe you shouldn't be drinking so much coffee if you don't have any kidneys.
this is true. This is true. And we have no proof that you lost those kidneys or gained those scars in battle. So that does not tell me you are a veteran. You're just a scarred up old man.
I don't know anybody that can sell you kidneys. I don't have any new kidneys at this point. You think that if I knew where to buy them, I would have bought some already.
What the heck?
Sir, I do not care about your kidneys. I am here to collect
That's
payment.
not a way to talk to a veteran, a senior veteran at that.
Oh my goodness.
So
this
Now,
point-
now. Let's not get all upset now.
No, I'm gonna knock him out. Gonna knock him a good one.
Oh no.
T-Berry,
Oh, no.
T-Berry is
Go-
gonna hear this and like hurry up and just give like one flap and just like fly over and just land in the middle, like just in between them.
You notice that this man can barely stand up, much less punch somebody.
I know, but T-Berry's
Now-
gonna do it anyway. Nobody ever accused him of being a tactful bird person.
Fair.
Now,
Oh, look, it's Pollyanna.
And I
No.
wish I was dead.
now listen here. I can play a very nice tune. Please give me the chance to do so. It might lift our spirits a little bit. And he's going
All right,
to-
Jimmy.
pull out his violin and play a little bit. That is a 15 plus 6, so 21.
Now you see, Hank, this is a young man that you need to give a raise to. This Jimmy feller, he understands customer service.
I
am
don't
not
work
paying-
here.
Pollyanna, could you get me a warm-up, please?
If you don't have any kidneys, you shouldn't be drinking coffee.
T-Berry, my friend, if you'll please prevent these men from getting any more free coffee. Thank you.
Well, and T-Berry, T-Berry, like, bends down, like, at the waist and just picks up their cups and eats them. Bird person.
How about we go, T-Berry? And I'm going to grab T-Berry by the arm and drag him back to the table where Jared is sitting down.
T-Berry
No,
just gives them,
that's-
like, the narrow-eyed look as he's dragged away, just kind of, like, squinting at him.
I'm sorry, T-Berry. Please don't get mad at me.
I'm not
No.
mad at you. They shouldn't be drinking coffee if they don't have any kidneys. Where is their concern for their own safety?
Oh, let them be. They
Well-
probably only have another year or two before they finally kick it.
Yes, exactly. Jared gets it.
How's
Now-
it coming, Hiram?
Yes, Jared, my associate from McDonald's Express Inc. If you'll please join me.
I do a face palm and then slowly get up from the table.
Gentleman is a senior manager in the corporate system of McDonald's Express Incorporated.
There we are. We finally have something to connect on. We're both seniors of something.
No,
He's also a
Justin,
centaur.
You should really get off your horse to talk to people. It's really impolite to sit on your horse when you're talking to people, Justin.
You're on a bit of a high horse yourself.
I lost both of my kidneys in the Battle of Wilmington.
I'll be honest. There's no proof that they are veterans. No proof.
I lost a perfectly
You
good
hear him
wagon
fart
down in a
loudly.
cave. Listen, just give me one moment, and I'm gonna turn to Hiram and say, where the hell are you going with this? I thought we were looking for magic users.
Using money off these old men, okay? We need money. I have no idea where my funds went.
Oh, why didn't you just mention that? And Requiem is going to put down his violin holder or whatever you'd call it. And he's going to attempt to play and convince people to give him money.
No. That is not how we make money here.
That's how
don't
I make
know.
money.
Jared,
People
are
are
you
so
telling
nice.
me-
If you play them a tune, they'll give you some money.
Hiram, I thought you were approaching these gentlemen because you would find us a magic user to unstone the lizard. You know that we have money, right? Did you already blow your wad?
It disappeared. I don't know. I blacked out for what feels like weeks, and I'm unaware of any funds I may or may not have.
Weeks, you
Well-
say? I need to go to parties with you.
Anyway, if this will do us no good, then let us go find a magic user. And he just walks away from the old men.
I'm going to turn to the old men.
You've been here a long time. You know where we can find a wizard or some sort?
What do you need a wizard for, Justin?
That's none of your concern. I mean,
Well,
we have a friend in need.
A
Yes,
friend
he
in
could
need
do
is
with
a
some
friend indeed,
healing.
Justin. You always should remember that.
Soon as I said it, I was afraid you were gonna come back with that.
But remember that a friend with weed is better.
what?
We know that.
What are these old men?
Are you guys holding? My glaucoma's acting up. But I got a
Oh,
medical
no.
card back at home. I can't show it to you, though.
We have a friend, and if you can direct us to a magic user, our friend can direct you to a supply.
Why don't you say so, man? Yeah, we'll help you out. Wilfred, do you know where we... I think I know where we can find him. And they kind of all... and they start leading you along, and they keep pausing and beckoning, even though you guys are dead even with them, and they're moving so fucking slow. And
You know how many times I've lived this out in video games? You're a terrible person.
So when are we going to get our running shoes anyway?
what, Jimmy?
That's questions you're
Nothing.
not prepared to know the answer to.
Anyway, we're gonna take you to the church, the Church of Wilmington, and they might have somebody that can help us, and you're gonna hook us up with one of them sweet, sweet bags, right?
Apparently.
I'm looking to score my glaucoma.
Well,
Real quick.
all right then.
Did I tell you that I lost both of my kidneys in the Battle of Wilmington?
Question.
You
Yes.
really don't take very good care of your body now, do you?
What was your
Can I
question,
make it?
Aubrey?
Can I make a history check to see if the Battle of Wilmington was a real thing or not?
You absolutely can.
History check. I'm doing it too.
18.
Nope, never happened.
I'm gonna walk up beside them and just
Oh,
kind of like do my
God.
bird person, walk in between them, in between the two old men, and I'm just like, so, and that must have been a real thing. That was definitely real, and it was really terrible when the mimics all showed up.
All the
Yes,
mimics just
very
ate my
terrible.
kidneys, just took them and ate them. It was bad.
It was and the oh geez, that whole thing was terrible, and it was absolutely real, and you definitely aren't making it up as an excuse to get weed from us.
Yes.
I would never. Now, listen here, Pollyanna. You're a smart cookie, and I can tell that you're a smart cookie by the way that you know that all of this is true. Me and Wilfred would never make up anything, and Wilfred kind of nodded. Oh, yes, never would make up anything.
So tell me about how many were in this battle. Was it countries? Was it continents?
Well, there were a lot of cunts, I can tell you that.
Are we
Oh, my
nearing this
goodness.
church yet?
Yeah, definitely. Everybody make me an insight check.
No one ever said he was a smart bird. That's a 2.
Insight.
19.
Yeah, that's a 10.
4.
Thank God one of us.
Thank God. Thank God. Oh my goodness. Thank you,
Okay,
Jared.
so Jared, you notice that you guys have been walking down a bunch of alleys and turning down different alleys and stuff. And then after a little while, you look up ahead and you think that this last alley leads to a dead end.
Okay. I'm gonna slow up for a second and go talk to Hiram for a moment.
Okay.
Huh.
Hiram.
Yes, my friend.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Oh, 100%. I agree.
On the
Is
plus
anyone
side,
else getting a bad feeling about this?
on the plus side, there's a possibility that we may have found some magic users. On the downside, I think they're going to use the magic against us.
Fair enough.
Listen, gentlemen, it just struck me that
He starts fumbling and stalling. And he looks to his companions for any excuse. He says,
We gotta go because we gotta go.
Requiem cast prestidigitation.
Wilfred
and
So Wilfred and Archibald, they both turn around and they make P's with their hands, like basically the OK symbol, but upside down. And they both look at you and they go, Prune gang! And
oh, shit.
What? Prune gang?
Gross.
Oh
What
no.
is happening?
I'm pretty sure at this point I would get startled, so
you start to see you see more old men and women come out in their walkers and canes and they start to appear
No.
They start to appear from different areas around you, and when you guys turn around to try and leave, you realize that there are more old people with walkers and canes, and none of them have weapons, though. And Archibald, the lead guy that's been talking to you, the one that lost both of his kidneys in the Battle of Wilmington, which doesn't exist, goes, "Now you're going to give Prune Gang all your money and all your stuff, because we're Prune Gang!" And Wilfred kind of goes, "Yeah, Prune Gang!"
I never.
Oh.
I
Who do
never.
you think you are?
Prune Gang! You can't hear?
I never say this, but all aboard the Centaur train.
I'm going to try and do kind of a Red Rover bust through their line.
Banana over.
Shock Thunder's gonna hop on top of Jared.
What do you want me to do for it?
Why don't you make me an athletics check at advantage, because these are ancient people.
It's going to be 18, 19, 20, 21, 22.
Okay, so
All right.
you gather up everybody on your back, and you start to charge forward, and a couple of these elderly people try and get in your way, but you sort of leap up into the air and send them off to the side, and Archibald yells after you, "Remember, every time you hear a creak, it could be a walker! Prune Gang!"
Oh my,
You
that is so
guys,
terrifying.
You guys managed to get away.
Oh my. That was very terrifying.
We need to leave this city.
Absolutely.
Yes, I believe so.
Need to leave now.
The idea of the church didn't seem like a bad one, though, but you said we've been here 2 or 3 days?
Yeah, you would probably know where a church is at this point.
Any rando church, I wouldn't even know what
You would
the
know.
difference is.
You would probably know where the Church of Wilmington is, just because you can see the bell tower rising up above the rest of the city.
Although that was probably the most frightening thing I've ever seen. Those gentlemen may
It was
have made
terrifying.
they may have made a good point. What say we just pay a quick visit to the Church of Wilmington and see if they can help us out?
Yes,
quick visit,
most
yeah,
definitely.
Because quick visits always turn out great for us. Let's go!
Let's just get away from these senile, I don't even know what to call them.
They,
Oh,
just
you guys!
horrifying.
It's no effort at all to get away from these people because they are utterly slow.
Oh, thank goodness.
when we leave, question, can yes, or are they still there, or
It would seem as though they're making an effort to follow you, but it's hard to tell because again, it's so glacial with the pace that
he very turns
you
around.
guys could stop and pause for a long time, and it would take a while before they got around the corner to see you guys again.
Hang on. T. Berry turns around and just like fluffs up his wings. Like, you know how birds do that thing where they like stick their like equivalent of elbows up in the air and just like bend their head down and puff out their feathers?
Yeah.
He's gonna do that and let out this horrible peregrine falcon screech, and I'd like to try to intimidate them.
Okay, go ahead.
It's an 11.
You actually see some of them that were starting to quote unquote make haste towards you. They like throw their walkers and canes on the ground and kind of startle back, and one of them actually falls and starts screaming, and you think that he might have broken his hip.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
I killed him.
Guess let's run before the guards get here. I
And he
grab
does
T.
the same,
Berry
you
from
hear
like-
the
some of
back
them
and,
yell, "Prune
next-
gang! Prune gang!"
What the heck?
on. We're skeeting. We're out of there.
All
That
right,
was
so I'm just gonna go
horrifying.
ahead and time jump you guys then right to outside the church. And this is definitely one of the more sizable buildings in Wilmington. And the bell tower on it is incredibly tall. The building's mostly made of stone, and there's large iron banded wooden doors, double doors at the front of it, and about 15 steps to get up to them. And again, all the steps and stuff are made out of stone, and there's like gargoyles carved into the like buttresses and things like that. It's a very ornate looking church. Oh, we lost Brian.
Oh no,
Never
Ah.
mind.
he's back.
Hiram, you're a religious man. Perhaps you should do the honors.
If you want me to, certainly I will. Um,
I'm not much for churches myself.
so, does it look like we can go in? There are no guards or anything, just
Nope, no guards.
presentable doors.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'll walk in.
Okay, so when you walk in, there is a large statue of an elven woman who is wearing like this long sort of not really a robe because it's not very flowing around the arms. Like a long tunic type thing, maybe, or a dress that isn't cinched at the waist. And she has on a laurel on her head. And the laurel is the only part that is gold. Everything else is just made out of marble. And then beyond that, Hiram, you can see that there are a bunch of seating area. There's a bunch of seating areas. It's not really like pews necessarily. It's like shoddy chairs. And then there is another representation of this elven woman, this time all in gold at the back. And you can see that there are a couple of friars in these brown robes who have the top of their heads shaved, and they're kind of bustling about this room, cleaning things up and things like that.
Could I make some sort of check to see if I would have any idea of the history of this faith or know anything about it?
Yeah, roll religion.
That is 11.
You definitely think that this is tiramisu, a goddess that you've heard of. You know, everything in your head is just really, really screaming out to you that that's who this is, and so you're pretty confident in it.
Can I attempt a religion roll?
I mean, I guess, but you have no way of knowing that Hiram has no clue.
12.
You think that this is Tiramaxinus, something like that?
Oh, yes, I know who Tiramaxinus is. Yes.
And Hiram, you're so confident that you might even correct him.
No, I think it's tiramisu. I believe that's how they pronounce it.
Isn't that a kind of food?
I have no idea what you're talking about. So I explain what their goddess is called to my companions. And then I ask, so Jared and T-Berry, should we ask these people if they could heal our friend?
I waited outside.
Oh, you did? Okay. My bad. Then I will walk over to the men in brown.
I'll walk over with him.
One of them looks up at you and says, "Welcome, travelers. Welcome to the Church of Tiramax." For you.
Thank you.
Tiramax. I see.
It doesn't.
Yes,
I'm not
I
even
was
sure.
right. Haha.
I'm not even sure if T-Bear's really ever been in a church before. I don't think he has. So he's
You ever built a nest in a steeple before?
so he's very like not sure how to ask. So he just leans over towards just like kind of whisper, like trying to be quiet but not doing a good job at it at all. It just goes am I supposed to like kiss him or
What?
You shouldn't try to bathe in the holy water either.
am. That was the next plan.
What if we were to drink the holy water?
Please don't. It takes quite a bit of time to bless every day, and we would have to go down to the well to fetch more water, and that would be way more work than we have time for. So please do not drink the holy water. You can feel free to use a little bit of it to genuflect or whatever it is that you should need to do in order to worship Tiramax. But drinking the holy, it's just, your insides don't need to be holy.
As when he speaks again, T-Berry like falls to his knees and just like bows in front of him. And he just goes, "Mighty Tiramax."
Oh, yes, I'll do that too. Requiem gets down on his knees next to T-Berry, and they're both like, "All hail Tiamat."
Sorry,
All right, then.
I've never been in a church before. I don't know what to do. Don't take anything.
Well, that's good. Stealing from the church is definitely frowned upon, but you may worship in any way that you feel is how Tiramax speaks to you. So, Birdman guy,
My name
I
is
do
T-Berry.
believe that. Oh, yes, it is very nice to meet you. My name is Franco.
Oh, Franco.
Is it Franco or Falco?
It's Franco. Are you hard of hearing?
No. I'm
small
sorry.
amount of coin, we could definitely heal that.
I know someone who. Never mind. There's someone in our party who actually needs
know someone
healing desperately. Much more than I could ever need. I know a little bit about healing, but I don't know enough to fix what has happened to him. And I guess he's going to attempt to pick up Kit and show him to him. He's got an 18 in strength, so do you need me to roll?
No, that's fine. Even as stone, Kid isn't super heavy. Because he's a kobold.
You see, this is my friend Kit. He is a kobold, and he's not supposed to be stone.
Well, I could definitely help with that. It will. I'll have to go and get the rest of my brothers because it's quite a powerful spell to take care of something like that. Normally, for something of this nature, we would require a fairly sizable donation. It will eat up some of our resources in order to do this, and it's very important that we help the local poor.
I do an insight
I-
check to see if he's being honest.
Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like he is, but I'm not sure if T-Berry would. He's got no fucking clue. 7.
So Requiem is going to attempt to say, we actually aren't that well off, and I don't know how much longer our friend has, really. It would mean a lot to me if you did this, and I would be eternally grateful. Could I roll some sort of persuasion?
Sure, go ahead.
All right. That's a 19 plus my 6, so a 25.
I could perhaps drop the price a little bit, but it still will take a considerable amount of our resources to do this. And again, we've had problems with various gangs of ruffians that have been preying upon some of our congregation.
Are they called
And
the Prune
so-
Gang?
Oh, the Prune Gang. You've met them, I see.
Yes, it was.
They're
It was unpleasant.
What
They have
if
that
we
effect
were
on
to
everyone.
what if we were to possibly convince them to stop with their maniacal schemes?
Really, I mean, the Prune Gang is a problem, but they're not our biggest issue.
Oh,
And who
all
is
right.
your
I can
Let's get
think of
to
a
your
thing.
biggest issue then.
Well, there is
Even though
another group.
we do not
Do you
have
want
much
to know
money.
about the damn group, or do you want to keep talking?
Oh, yes, about the group. I'm very sorry. I'm very talkative.
I can tell. We have all taken a vow of silence for 10 years before we could become full priests of Tiramax. Perhaps you should consider such a vow for maybe a shorter span.
He takes his fingers and makes kind of a zipping motion over his lips, and then a key locking motion, and then throwing the key away.
Well, you see, there are some very dangerous areas of Wilmington, and one of our congregation members by the name of, hold on, give me 2 seconds. By the name of Drepa Ashton. She's a halfling woman, and she owns a small quilt shop. And she's been having an issue with these men in these cowls and these black bandanas pulled over their faces, and they come in and demand quote unquote protection money. And I think if you can help out Drepa, we can come to some sort of an accord.
I give him a thumbs up.
Seems doable.
I believe we can do this, and in return, you restore our stone friend.
Yes, why don't you leave him here, and when we'll work on restoring him, and when you return, we'll call it even.
Excellent.
Okay.
And he gives you guys directions to Drepa's house, and I'm not going to bother giving you guys that because I don't have a map of this city, so what's the point?
T-Berry pecks him on the head one last time before they leave.
Thank you. That was very nice, and I'm sure Miramax approves, even if I necessarily don't.
No, I mean he pecks Kit on the head.
Oh, okay.
The priest.
Yeah.
Ignore
Unzip. Yes, take care, Kit. We will come back for you eventually, my friend.
T-Berry bows to the priest again, but he doesn't know what he's supposed to do, so still bowing, he shuffles out of the church backwards.
Yeah, Requiem too.
All right, you guys are outside of the church then. What do you guys want to do?
How did it go? Where's the lizard?
I don't.
We made an agreement, and if we take care of some ruffians, they will heal our friend.
It's always an exchange with people. Nobody can just do it out of the goodness of their hearts.
I did my best, Jared. I put on the fake tears and everything.
No one is compassionate as you and I, Jared.
So,
I mean,
right,
I
my
don't-
friend.
I mean, call me the bad guy. Tell me devil's advocate, Tiramax's advocate for a minute. But I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with giving to a church.
Well, shall we go?
Well, let's go.
Jared kind of mutters to himself on their way out.
Dude, you guys could pay to have the restoration spell cast on Kit fucking twice, at least, if not more.
Shut up, Tim. Nobody asked you.
Adventure.
Where exactly are we going?
A halfling woman named Drepa's house?
Oh, we're going to a house
Yes.
or quilt shop.
You're going to the quilt shop.
Did you say the name of the quilt shop?
You'll find out when you get there.
Oh no.
You're cutting out.
I said you'll find out when you get there.
Are you mad at us for doing something you didn't have planned and you have to invent a gang on the fly?
No, this is all improv. Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm sorry.
Wait a
No,
moment.
I told you guys
There's-
this is what my plan was. We're good. This is what I wanted to do.
You're telling me that there's a gang harassing a lady that owns a quilt shop.
Apparently.
A quilt shop. All right.
Quilt shop.
This is a very strange town.
So I kind of spaced out. What are we doing? Burning this quote shop down to the ground or something?
No, we're helping the woman who owns it. And I'm not gonna take anything.
Oh. Yes, don't take anything. He winks.
So when you guys get there, you guys see this. It's a fairly sizable stone and wooden building with a sign out in front of it that reads Drepa's Drapery and Duvets.
Nice.
Interesting.
Yeah, fuck you, Brian. Came up with that pretty quick, didn't I?
That was a really good name.
All right. I would reckon this is the place.
I do enjoy a nice alliteration, don't you?
I-
The door.
I can't say I've ever eaten one before, but we'll have to get one after this mission.
So T-Berry,
no,
a little bell
oh.
dings as you open up the door and you see a little lady who's her hair is in that, that perm that old ladies get, but it's definitely quite thin at this point, and it's just stark white. And she's got a lot of lines in her face, but her hands and fingers, while very veiny and they look very paper thin like her skin does, they seem very strong for somebody of her age. And she looks up at you, T-Berry, and goes, "Oh, yes, yes, yes. How can I help you? How can I help you?"
I'm not gonna take anything. We're here to help you.
Yes, we are here to help you.
"Well, no, this is my store, and I will help you look around, of course."
Well, actually, we were sent by the Church of Tiamaxis to help you.
"Oh, so you're here to deal with the ruffians?"
Yes.
Yes.
They've been coming around for a few months now, every week or so, every 2 weeks, and they and she points to, she's got a bunch of these stands that are basically these racks that have these dowels that run parallel in between the racks, and there's a bunch of quilts and drapes and curtains and things, and they're all kind of separated onto different racks and stuff. And she says, "Well, I used to have many more racks and things to show my wares, but every time that they come, they smash a few and tear a few quilts asunder, and, well, I cave and pay them money. They tell me it's for my own protection, but it seems like only protection from them."
It's terrible.
Well, don't worry. We will actually be protecting you from these hooligans.
And for just the smallest fee.
No fee. We are here to help.
Actually, with our magical components and repairing our weapons, there is a small fee attached.
Purely the cost of doing this business. Nothing, of course, for ourselves or our own gain.
"Oh, right. Well, here, let me go and fetch you a small stipend to tide you over to purchase your compotes, you said?"
Components
Yes.
themselves, yes.
Tell me, how much are
Right,
you...
well, I could fetch you a nice raspberry jam if you're interested as well.
Oh, or perhaps, do you have any alliteration here? I've been meaning to try that. Didn't you say it was good, Hiram?
Jared,
Right?
that isn't a food. That is more of a way of a speech, I guess you'd say.
It's a literary device, if I remember correctly.
Oh yes, brilliant.
Yes, of course. And I do know what a water closet is.
That's very good to know. I'm glad that there's such capable adventurers to help me in my time of need.
How much are you paying these ruffians for their protection?
So, what information should I give you? I don't know how one starts in a situation like this. Do you just want to hang out here at the quilt shop? I could fix some cocoa.
We will discuss all of our plans, but first, how much do they charge you? For their protection?
So yeah, Coco, you guys are just gonna chill here until these people show back up again, or what?
Yep. We'll like raise one wing and just go, do you have any torn quilts?
Well, yes, I have very many. I haven't gotten around to repair yet because, well, these ruffians, as I mentioned before, they pull out their daggers and slash them and do all sorts of damage. It takes a long time to make a quilt. I don't know if you're familiar with the process, but you must first make all the individual patches that then you sew together. But first, all of those patches are sewn together, and they're made out of all sorts of different fabrics that I've
Yes.
collected over all of my travels. And I have various different buyers that go out and find me different fabrics and rare
All
fabrics
right.
as well. Have you
Where's
ever felt
that
gingham
hot
before?
cocoa? I could sure go for some now.
Are there any that are beyond repair that you would be willing to sacrifice?
Sacrifice? I mean,
I really want one, and I promised you I wouldn't take anything, so I'm asking you for one.
oh, right. Well, yes, of course. Let me. And she goes and she fetches a very nice looking quilt. It's got blue and red and green patches on it, and it's very. Other than the fact that there are a bunch of large tears in it, it's very
Yeah.
warm and very nice.
It probably matches your vest.
He puts it
I
on
hope
like a
this will
cloak.
do.
It just like flops onto it in the corner and just pulls it over his shoulders like a cloak, and he just goes, "Thank you."
Wait, I have a question about T-Berry. So
Yes.
he's got wings, but he has hands and arms. Like, how does that?
Like
How's that?
I- it's an Aarakocra, so I feel like his wings do that like cartoon thing where they're like fingers.
Oh, okay.
At least that's how I picture it. I don't know if that's really how it works, but because he can't
yeah, dude.
flap his wings and fire an arrow at the same time, so
100%, you're basically just Iago in the way that you grab onto things.
yeah. I guess I gotta start speaking like Gilbert Gottfried.
No.
Hard.
So
Oh,
the
boy.
plan is to just wait here then?
Yep. Requiem is just gonna open up one of the books and start reading them.
Hiram is gonna walk out onto the porch and keep an eye out for any incoming people.
And I'm gonna take the back.
So after a little bit, Drepa comes out and brings you a cup of hot cocoa, and inside of it, there are a bunch of multicolored marshmallows, and she hands it to you,
Ooh.
Hiram.
Oh, lovely! Thank you, ma'am.
This old
You're
lady
you're
is
very
great.
welcome. And she goes and brings you guys all a cup of cocoa with multicolored marshmallows.
Please
Oh,
tell
you are
me they're
so
in
kind.
these like.
Thank you so much.
Please tell me that they're in these like extremely delicate little tiny halfling like bone china teacups.
Oh yeah, just
Oh,
incredibly
no.
fancy, but it's basically just a shot of cocoa for all of you.
T-Berry
you
is
so
just trying to
much.
do. Is just trying to drink with his hooked beak and not break it. You notice him eyeing the cup with some interest.
I see you've noticed my grandmother's china. I've brought it all the way from Farming Hall.
Oh, it's your grandmother's, and he's gonna put it
Oh.
down very gently.
Delightful. And Requiem is gonna start studying it and looking at it thoroughly. Oh yes, this is quite beautiful.
It's got etchings of flowers in all blue around it. It's very much so your standard china looking cup, except for much smaller because it's for a halfling.
Oh, this is so wonderful. You have good taste, ma'am.
Would anyone like more cocoa?
Oh no, I've already ate my fill back when we were at McDonald's earlier. But I don't know
I
about
could go
my
for
other
some more
friends.
marshmallows.
She produces this bag, this tiny bag of mini multicolored marshmallows, and she hands it over. Now remember that you shouldn't eat too many, or you might get a tummy ache.
T-Berry already has 3 stuck to his beak in different places. And he just goes, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Hiram calls through the window to the old lady, and pardon me, ma'am, I have a few questions.
Yes, I'll be right out there. Just 1 moment, please. And she goes and returns the tiny china kettle that has the cocoa in it into a back room, and then she comes out and she very slowly sits down onto the porch next to you, and she groans just a little bit as she does it, and you can hear the bones in her knees creak just a little bit. And she says, "Yes, young man, how can I help you?"
Yes, so the ruffians that have been plaguing you, about what time of day do they come around, and is it on a schedule, or is it just random?
It seems pretty random. They come usually early in the morning, and which is odd because you'd think that they'd wait until after I've sold some things when I would actually have some money to give to them, but they don't seem too concerned with my livelihood.
That is unfortunate. Well, we will keep watch, and if they come in the morning, then they shall be dealt with swiftly.
Well, it's not always the same ones, and so even if you were to bring the, 2 that come to justice, I feel as though there are probably more.
I see. Well, then, well, do you know where they come from? Perhaps we should go to the source of the problem.
She points down the road to the east and says, I haven't really seen them, coming from too far off, because to be honest with you, I usually lock my doors in the morning and look out the window and only open if it's somebody that I know, but they just let themselves in usually by force. And it's then that you kind of notice that the door has definitely been repaired multiple times.
Hiram is gonna hug the little old lady for a second, kind of let his guard down.
What the fuck is going on?
It's a grandma, Tim. Okay.
She pinches your cheeks and says, "Well, you guys are here now, and that's all that matters. And I really appreciate your help."
It is a pleasure helping you, ma'am.
There's a cutoff. You can only rob
yeah.
and take advantage of people up until they're 75 to 80 years old. Then they're grandmas.
Fuck, I have to leave and come back. I can't hear Brian at all.
Okay.
Like, everyone make a plan while he's not here.
Test.
Yep, I can hear you. You're good.
Cool.
Woohoo!
So what were you saying?
Oh, I was just making a dumb joke.
Oh, cool. I'm glad that I came back for that. Never mind. Next time I'll just leave Brian muted.
Well,
so you guys. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, continue.
Well, no. If you have more questions, I was just going to start passing some time.
Yeah, time passing is good.
Okay. So you guys hang out here for the rest of the afternoon, and she feeds you guys lunch and also offers you snacks throughout the course of the day as well. And a few customers come in, mostly mostly older people. And she makes a few sales throughout the course of the day, and then it starts to get darker out, and she says, "Well, do you want to stay here for the evening?"
We could make camp on the porch.
No,
Yes,
no,
yes.
no. There's no. Please, by all means, sleep in the shop. I have plenty of blankets and pillows.
Can I make a nest with the quilts?
Absolutely.
Throughout the day, whenever there's customers, T-Berry has been following them very closely, making sure they don't take anything.
Yeah, and Requiem is only acting like he's like into the books, like very invested. He's been also keeping an eye out for any suspicious behavior from any of the clients that might come by.
So why don't you guys make me a perception roll, all of you, and it's going to be very hard.
Okay.
Oh, sweet, a nat 20.
That's an 11 from T-Berry.
Oh,
7.
He's watching.
Sweet. A nat 4.
All
Nice.
right.
So Requiem would see one of the old women that comes in here to buy a quilt. She kind of glares at you for just a second, and you see her flash the Prune Gang sign at you, and then she goes right back to what she was doing.
So I step over to Jared for a moment. They know we're here.
Who knows we're here?
The Prune Gang.
I can't take you seriously when you say that. Where are
I
you?
saw an old lady earlier. She flashed the Prune Gang sign at me, I swear.
All right. Where did you see her?
She was in the quilt shop. She was buying a quilt, just like any old lady would, but she flashed the Prune Gang sign. I know it was the Prune Gang sign.
How truly terrifying.
You're more obscenely paranoid than I am. T-Berry says from his nest of quilts in the corner.
Hey now, T-Berry, if you dealt with old people like I used to deal with them, you'd be pretty terrified too.
How did you used to deal with them?
I mean, they used to pinch my cheeks all the time and tell me how adorable I was, smothering me in their appendages. It's so terrible. Wait a moment. I don't remember anything about my past. That's the first thing I've remembered.
Well, I don't like it when people try to ride me, so I suppose I can understand and empathize.
But those Prune Gang people are bad news. We should stay away from them as best as we can.
All right, now, point out the old lady to me.
Huh?
Which old lady was it?
Do I remember what she looked like?
Yeah,
she
you
still
remember an old lady with a walker who had blue hair and a very wrinkly face. You remember her being human, and she had on this long green polka dotted dress.
All right, I'm just gonna give that information back to the group.
Very well. We'll have to keep an eye out for her.
What time of day is it right now?
It's dusk.
Okay. Let's see. Evening is approaching, and we don't know how long the night is going to be before they show up. If they show up. Do you
Why
think...
don't you guys all make me a perception check?
Another nat 20.
21.
Oh,
15.
21.
Okay, so everybody above a 20, you can hear the sound of something clanking together outside, right? And you hear, Hanky, Pollyanna, come out and play, eh?
Get down, and do not engage.
Evening is...
Requiem dives into some quilt
This is
and hides.
You said this is a faint sound?
The clanking is faint, but you can definitely hear Archibald's voice.
Okay.
Quite loud on the screen.
Out the front?
Does anybody know what reference that I was doing?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Jared, did you hear that?
Jimmy, Pollyanna, come out and play, eh?
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh no.
Jared's going to pull out the war saws that he got at the lumber camp.
The Warsaw's that he got in Poland.
Yeah.
Well, shall we go out and play?
Indeed, we shall.
Let's not kill old people.
I'm in with this jam. Let's take these old folks down and then some.
T. Mary stands up, just wearing this. I'm sorry, I'm just thinking about this. He's got 2 scarves, a pocket watch around his neck, and a quilt on like a cape, and he just stands up and goes, "Let's not kill any old people."
They will be prepared to feel the shock. Thunder!
They only had another year or 2 before they'd kick it.
Please don't.
I put my war saws away momentarily, and I'm going to... You said they're out the front? I'm going to... Does she have blinds or something? I want to peer out the window, but discreetly if I can.
There's actually drapes,
God.
not blinds.
I peer through the drapes.
You can see outside, so there are at least 24 elderly people with walkers and canes, and you see Archibald has these bottles on his fingers, and he's just clanking them together.
Oh my God.
And some of the old people have like chains that they're like slapping against their hands, and some of them have like their canes up like swords, and they
Oh my
seem
God.
ready for business.
Oh my God.
I count maybe between 20 and 30. It looks like they would like to fight for reals this time.
Hey, yo, man, I got this. One whiff of my breath and they'll be out like this.
How charming.
So he's gonna step out front.
All right,
And-
so
Wait.
as soon as you
No.
exit the building, we are going to end the session for the night then.
Oh, shit.
Okay. Wait, for real?
Yeah, unless you want to keep doing things inside of the building, but as soon as you guys are stepping out to fight, we're going to end it for the night because I don't want to do an hour worth of combat and be up until midnight because I got to work in the morning.
All right, I'm gonna be honest. I was going to attempt a breath attack at every single person right out front because my breath attack, let me see.
It's a 15-foot cone. There's no way that you would hit all of
Oh,
them.
wait. Yeah, never mind. I thought it was yeah, never mind. Nope, never
all
mind.
good.
Yeah,